Welcome mama and welcome back to the channel. I am here in Georgia and my battery died before I was able to film an intro. So hello and welcome back. I am so excited to be back making videos about matrescence, motherhood, and everything in between. In today's video, we're going to be talking about what matrescence is and why we don't know about it. Like, why did anyone tell us about this? And we'll go into a lot of these topics more in depth in subsequent videos, but for now, this is a start, and I'm going to be getting ready in this video because I don't have time to not multitask as we're doing right now. Can you say hi? So thank you so much for being here. Before you leave, make sure to subscribe, follow, like, share, all of those things. And check out the links down below for more resources on matrescence, as well as our merch with a mission. And let's jump into it. What is matrescence and why did no one tell us about this? Right? You're gonna know about it. You're gonna know too much about it, my dude. Alright, it is 5:40. I have my base done because I'm not gonna have time for this. Flavor of the day is sherbet swirl, probably my favorite flavor ever. I think ever. I'm really loving witch's brew right now because obviously it's seasonal, but okay, let's do this. Matrescence. Matrescence is the ongoing developmental process of becoming a mom, and it includes all of the different changes that we experience when we transition to and through the role of mother. And it happens no matter how you become a mom, via surrogacy, adoption, vaginal birth, C-section. Doesn't matter. Whenever you take the role of a mother, the primary caretaker of a child, you will go through some version of matrescence, because matrescence is unique, but it's universal. It is inevitable. You will go through matrescence. However, it looks different for every person, and there are so many factors that can change what your matrescence experience looks like, from your disposition to your support system to your child's disposition to your expectations to your childhood, your mom. So many different things that can impact what matrescence is like for you, but you will experience it. And for some people it can be a really empowering experience, and for some people it can be a disorienting experience, because matrescence is a rite of passage. It is the ending of one phase of life and the beginning of another, and rites of passage don't just happen overnight. It is a process, and we can do a whole video on this. I'll probably say that a million times in this video. We can do a whole video on rites of passage and how we can make motherhood a more healthy rite of passage for modern women, because right now there is no like ceremony around this. There's no actual ritual to the rite of passage for most of us, and that doesn't mean that the rite of passage still isn't happening. Like, you still are going through this change, but you just don't have any guidance and no one's talking to you about it, which is not great. But how this came to be is there was a medical anthropologist in the 1970s, Dana Raphael, and she's actually the same woman who coined the term doula. She was like, okay, there's another rite of passage, adolescence. And we talk about this, we know about this. It's the set of changes that someone goes through as they transition from being a child to an adult, end of one phase of life to a beginning of another. And she said, why don't we have the same thing for mothers? Because she was noticing a very similar process occur with the mothers that she worked with and observed. And so she coined it as matrescence, and it's been expanded upon since then. And she noticed that there were, I believe it was emotional, physical, and psychological changes, or maybe emotional, physical, and spiritual. I'm not remembering off the top of my head, but three areas in which we change when we become mothers. And again, that's been expanded upon across different researchers, different practitioners. And my favorite model to look at this is from my teacher of my certification course, Nikki McCoon. She talks about the 8 domains of change, and there are 8 different areas in which we change. I'll put those up on the screen because I never can rattle off 8 things in a row, like ever. So this is the 8 domains of change. And so let me know down in the comments which one really sticks out to you. For me, I think the psychological domain was definitely the hardest, which would be the way we think about ourselves in the world, our priorities, our values, our understanding of ourselves, our identity. And I think a lot of people struggle with that one. And matrescence is ongoing and cyclical. So there's no time frame for this. And we, in the seasons of matrescence, use a seasonal model for where we are in this cycle. And we'll talk all about that. I like to think of it as a tree or like a butterfly to wrap my head around where I am in this in my matrescence process, but matrescence is cyclical. It happens every time you have a new child or have a new experience, a new pregnancy. And like I said, it is inevitable. We will experience it. And having gone through this twice now, I can tell you that knowing about matrescence made a huge difference. Leads me to the second part of this conversation. Why aren't we told about matrescence? Why don't people talk about this? Why don't people know about this? And I can just speak from my experience. When I was going through both my pregnancies, no one said anything about it. I think there are a couple of reasons for this, and I'm going to go over them briefly here, but we can expand on these in separate videos because I think there is a lot to each of these. So let me know down in the comments which one you want to hear more about first, because I would love to break them down. First of all, I think people aren't being taught this, and the more we can be educated as mothers and as a population, the better we can push for this information to be included in things, to be taught, to be explained. Because even if it's just a very surface level, all right, welcome, you're pregnant, you are in the middle of matrescence. This is the ongoing transition into motherhood. You may change in a million ways, you may change in a few, but whatever you're feeling, just know that it's normal. It is part of the process, and it's something that we're here to support you through. Oh my God, that would have made such a difference. When you go to your doctor and you say, I don't feel like myself, they more than likely will either dismiss it and say it's postpartum, it's hormones, you'll get through this. It just takes time for you to feel like yourself again. Or they may run some blood work or give you some meds and send you on your way. Or if everything's fine, they'll just tell you everything's fine. Oh, well, we didn't find anything. You're gonna be okay. You're I don't feel like I'm gonna be okay. And I just don't feel like that is the most comprehensive care that we can be giving moms at all. And I mean, again, we could talk about the care we give to moms for 17,000 videos, I think. Number 2 dives into the sociology of motherhood and the way that we believe good moms are supposed to act and what good moms are supposed to need and not need. And this goes back to Andrea O'Reilly, who is a sociologist. She has a list of social ideals of motherhood. Again, we'll dive into these. This is a fascinating list to me, and it makes me go, hey, what? But essentially, our socialization is everything that we learn throughout our lives that tells us how to act in the world and how we're supposed to be. And a lot of the times, it's not even anything that we are aware of. It's just the water we've been drinking. And over time, we have formed these ideas in our head. Maybe don't even recognize are there. The first one is that being a mother comes natural. Being a mother shouldn't be something that needs to be taught. It should come easy. It should come natural. If it doesn't, then there's something wrong with you. The second is that a mother puts everyone before herself. A mother is selfless. A mother's needs will never matter as much as everyone else's needs. Those two things right there. One, you feel like you're broken. You feel like there's something wrong with you. You feel like you've changed. You feel like you don't know who you are anymore. Can you say that? Because then that means that you're struggling in something that you're not supposed to struggle in. You're experiencing something that means that you're not a good mom because this is supposed to come natural. And, well, my baby's fine, so it's not about me anymore. I shouldn't bring up myself because that makes me look selfish. Both things that are not true, but there are things that I think impede us from asking what's going on, from seeking the answers that could be helpful. We also have expertization, which means that that doctors and the other specialists are the experts that mothers need to listen to. Your mother intuition, anything that you believe doesn't matter because you need to listen to the experts. So if the experts aren't saying anything, again, like we just talked about, they're oh, you're fine. We'll do blood work, you're fine. Or this is normal, you'll be fine. Or they don't say anything at all. You as a mother are not supposed to question that. And I'm not saying that there aren't great doctors out there and that we shouldn't be listening to our doctors. I don't believe that at all. I just believe that there's room for our intuition alongside doctors, and that doctors need to make space for what we're feeling and what we're thinking, and that in society is not the norm and can impact the way that we experience matrescence. And lastly, one of her rules is the individualization of motherhood, that mothering is the sole work of the mother. So getting that outside help, saying you don't know what you're doing, any of those things are not appropriate. You're not a good mom if you feel those ways, or feel that way. And lastly, we have the individualization of motherhood, that mothering is the sole work of the mother, that we don't need outside help anymore, which is just bonkers. And you should be able to figure it out. You should be able to do it on your own. And when you can't, again, or you struggle in any way, it's waving that white flag that I don't belong here. I'm not a good mom. And that is a very hard thing to do. And it's even harder to bypass these things when we don't even know that we believe them. And so I have some resources. You can sign up down below for some of the resources I have on breaking down these myths that we have. But when we just look at this right now, it leads us to our last point, and that is the hyper-individualization of America in general and some other Western countries. In America specifically, we celebrate individualism more than anything. Like, it is like the self-made man. I can do it myself, especially when we look at women and feminism. I have to do it all to prove that I deserve to do it all. And that is a heavy burden. And other cultures see individualism and independence as being antisocial. In America, it's what we prize. And so we have to do it ourselves. We have to get through it. We have to figure it out. And again, asking for help, saying I can't do it myself, saying I don't want to do it myself, is waving that flag that I don't belong here. And I think all of those things combined, along with just the systems that have set us up to be so overwhelmed, so overworked, and have not a lot of space for anything but the mothering tasks that we are doing 24/7, because I don't know if there's ever been a time where women have more intensively mothered. We are not outsourcing because we can't afford to in most cases. We are, our tasks have expanded, and we have, we can talk about social media, but we have so many more pressures of the things that we feel we're expected to do. Just so much pressure and so much demand that when are you going to look into this? When are you going to take the time for yourself? And as a matrescence educator, that is the uphill battle that I face all the time, because I want to help. I want to get resources out there. I want to give you the tools to be able to work through this. But when are you going to do it? It is so hard. And I get it, because I'm on the other end trying to make this in the pockets of time that I have, which is 6 a.m. So I get it, and which is 6 a.m. My job as a matrescence educator is to change that. That's my goal, is to change that. I'll have to say, I believe you deserve to know what you're going through, and I believe that knowing what you're going through makes all the difference in enjoying your motherhood, in breaking down those beliefs that you don't have to believe anymore, in figuring out what you want your motherhood to look like instead of the social rules that are in your head without you even knowing, and for helping you to know that you're not broken. You are just going through a normal developmental process that, yes, can be hard, yes, can be wonderful. As Nikki says, and I love, it is a beautiful and brutal journey to and through motherhood. And that is something I think should be talked about. And I have some resources coming out very soon that I'm super excited about. Some mini courses that are going to be able to do, like, literally, if you can get an AirPod in for like 5 minutes and sit down for 5 minutes, you can do this. There are there's gonna be some freebies. Like I said, the one that I'm talking about right now about the perfect mommy myth will be able to download right now, so you can start to look at what those things in your head may be. And then we also have a webinar coming up where we're going to talk about more in depth what is matrescence and where are you, so you can figure out where you're going. So a lot of stuff coming out, and I'd love to support you through matrescence in any way that I can. So right now, make sure that you follow me over on my socials, where I make matrescence content all the time, more than ever, and I'm super excited about it. And make sure that you go to welcome-mama.com to sign up for updates on everything to come. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you in the next one. Do this. Do this. The time that I have, back the time.